hieroglyphics that show these ant beings almost as slaves working in a system. But imagine a better being than an ant to be moving giant stones and stuff around, building things, because ants are so strong. They can move 7 times their body weight, can't they? So imagine one that weighs 200 pounds. Things moving around 1,400 pounds. I mean, you don't want to piss one of them off.
No, you definitely don't. And think about this. Yeah, think about this for a second, Rex. Is we've seen all these depictions of people like Moses statues with horns. What if those horns weren't horns at all, but that was the only way that they could actually articulate them? What if they were antennas?
Hey, it could be. Absolutely. That's a great possibility.
Just a question, right?
That's a great possibility. And you know what? Maybe those horns that Moses was depicted as having, and many of these ancient gods and deities were depicted as having, maybe those horns were antennas, or they were a biological antenna. And it's very interesting, because if you saw somebody with horns now, it might kind of spook you a little bit because of the Hollywoodized version of, oh man, it's a demonic being, it's got horns. But maybe we're the demons. Maybe they think we're demons. Think about that. And maybe these ant beings come from the center of the earth. For example, let me throw something out. I know this sounds far out, but what doesn't sound far out anymore? The earth itself is so vast, and what's inside of the earth is so incredible. Even the oceans that we have, like, for example, the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, that we know a lot about, we haven't gotten to the bottom yet. So there's oceans deeper than the Atlantic Ocean underneath the Atlantic Ocean. This has been documented. We're talking Science Daily, very, how do I put this? Well-educated, high scholars that have positions that you say, yeah, I mean, they're not just writing an article because they saw something on the internet and it sounded good. So they're going to say that there's these 500-foot giants in Antarctica that are coming out of the center of the earth. No, this is documented evidence of a ocean. And that might be true too. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just kind of using an analogy here. But But let's say that they have said that there's an ocean underneath the Atlantic Ocean that's bigger than the Atlantic Ocean, and that there is a gap in between. Like, we're talking a space in there where it could be some type of atmosphere as well. And maybe these beings are coming from there, but it's so many miles down, and it would be so difficult to get to. It would almost be like traveling to Mars. It would be that difficult just to get to these pockets inside of our earth. Now, I'm not saying the earth is hollow, but I think that there's pockets inside of the earth, and there's entire ecosystems within the earth. And what if, when these cataclysms happen, in order to survive, some people are brought into these sections inside of the earth?
All ancient scriptures have people hiding inside the earth. We have lots of ancient scriptures and fairly recent documentation about Middle Earth, right? Hollow Earth. You also have lots of ancient documentation on the continent of Pan and Atlantis. Atlantis being the Atlantic Ocean and Pan being the Pan-Pacific. So then you get into scripture and it says mountains will be laid low, that everything will be reversed. So think about, if you're on dry land right now, it will be wet, and wet land will become dry. So if you just think about that, you also have the panda bear, which is in Asia, that comes from Pan. You have Peter Pan. You have lots of Pan aspects in all of the Asian culture about these people of Pan, which were very small people, very ingenious. They built kind of like the Hobbit in Lord of the Rings. And then Atlantis, we have giants. So we're looking at two different planets, two